Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 15 is entitled as Purushottama Vidya, Purushottama Yogam. Sloka 15, Part 11. Sarvasya cāhaṁ hṛdi sanniviṣṭo mattaḥ smṛtir jñānam apohanaṁ ca vedaiś sarvair aham eva vedyo vedānta-kṛd veda-vid cāham. Just a short recap what we have covered. Vedas are shabda pramanam. We learned that Vedas are not created by anyone. Vedas are eternal, that is, its essential sequence remains same the way it is chanted. And we learned Vedas are apurusheya. It doesn't have author. It's authorless. It didn't come out of someone's thought from mind. And also we saw Vedas are in the form of sounds expressed and pronounced in a particular manner constitutes Natha Brahma, the Lord in the form of sound of music. Now we'll learn more about Vedas and other pramanas within Shabda Pramana. Vedas are also called as Shruti, Nigama or Amnaya. Shruti means that which is heard, as sacred knowledge heard by the ancient rishis and transmitted through generations of disciples. One thing to be noted here, when we say Shruti means heard, it doesn't mean it was spoken by someone. The great Munis and Rishis were believed to have heard through the medium of sounds the eternal truth, and that they grasped with their intuitive wisdom. Such word, so heard, itself become powerful when properly uttered by the proper person under the proper circumstances at the proper place. In other words, the Shruti, the Vedas, cannot be uttered improperly, cannot be uttered by an improper person, cannot be uttered in improper circumstances, and cannot be uttered in improper time. Shruti are not the material that can be conveyed by the printed text. They could be transmitted only between two minds, from Guru to Sishya, both of whom should have the qualification to give and to receive respectively. The Shrutis are self-evident. We don't need to look for another one to prove the Shrutis. The next one is Nigama. Vedas are called as Shrutis, Nigama, Amnaya. We saw Shruti. Now Nigama. Nigama means a settled text or work that is handed down. It has to be handed from one to another one. That is Nigama. Amnaya means that what is learned by a student is cherished by constant repetition and frequently thinking over the same. That is Amnaya. These are different ways the Vedas are referred to. Shruti, Nigama, Amnaya. The Vedas were originally not classified. It was all one. The great sage Vedavyasa, with the help of his disciples Sumantu, Vaishampayana, Jaimini, and Bailar, classified the Vedas into 4 groups, and it consists of 1131 branches. Rig Vedas as 21 shakas, branches, Yajur as 101, Sama as 1000, and Atharvana as 9 branches. Vedas are of 2 parts. One is called Purvabhaga, or also known as Karma Kanda, and the other one is Uttarabhaga, also known as Jnana Kanda or Brahma Kanda. In the Purvabhaga, that is Karma Kanda, mentioning about various rituals for one's material stability are present in that part, whereas Uttarabhaga is about the Supreme Lord and attaining the Supreme Lord, moksha, has been mentioned. What does Vedas has within it? It has Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas and Upanishads. Samhitas are collections of mantras of praise, whereas Brahmanas are the detailed manuals or guidelines specially formulated for the benefit of the performer of the ritual. It is for the priestly classes to properly observe the procedural things that's involved in the sacrifice. These two, Samhitas and Brahmanas, were known as Purva Kanda or Karma Kanda of the Vedas, whereas Aranyaka and Upanishad are part of Uttara Kanda, that is Jnana Kanda or Brahma Kanda. Aranyakas means belonging to forest. Aranyakas were mantras recited usually in the hermitage or forest, and Upanishads are ones that contain the essence of wisdom that is enshrined in the Vedas. They are the Vedanta. It is said there are many Upanishads, but out of them 10 are considered to be principal ones. Aitriya, Taitriya, Isha, Brihadaranyaka, Katha, Chandokya, Kena, Prashna, Mundaka, Mandukya. These are 10 principal Upanishads. Upanishads generally present an objective view of the universe and rational approach to the problems of reality far in advance. These are all Shrutis. Besides this, there are smṛtis, which are secondary scriptures or traditional texts. Smriti means remembered, recalled or transmitted. Smriti includes Vedangas. Veda Angas means limbs of Vedas. Smṛtir Sutra, that is remembered texts. Dharma Shastra, law books. Itihasas, the legendary poems and epics. Puranas, ancient texts. Niti Shastra, rules of justice. All these are smritis. There are 6 angas called Vedangas: Siksha, Vyakarana, Chandasa, Nirupta, Jyotisam, Kalpa. They are also valid pramanas because they abide by the Vedas. Siksha are how to pronounce the letters, whether the sound should come from the abdomen or from the chest, from the throat, things like that. Siksha. Chandasa, Chandaha, are how many aksharas, letters, needs to be present in a line. To grasp the count and nature of the letters in a verse is called Chandasa. Vyakarana means grammar, to identify the components of a word and their meaning. Niruptam, that which explains the meaning of difficult terms in the Vedas, to learn the more complex words that mentioned in the Vedas. Kalpa, that which explain the sequence in which the yaga, the sacrifice, needs to be performed. Jyotisam. This is about the study of time at which to perform Vedic deeds. One cannot do sacrifices any time when they like. There are certain sacrifices has to be done at certain times. So Jyotisam helps in that. These Vedangas are very important for the Vedas. Siksha and Chandas are to preserve the words in the Vedas. Vyakarana and Niruktam are to safeguard the meanings of the Vedas. Whereas Kalpa and Jyotisam to protect the performance of Vedic deeds. So they are also smritis, pramanams, because it helps us to understand the various injunctions and the truth that's present in the Vedas. Otherwise, Vedas would be understood wrongly. These smritis also describes codes of conduct for mankind in day-to-day life, and punishments and prayachita, meaning atonements for wrongdoing. All those things are mentioned in the smritis. Next is itihasas, which means so indeed it was. It refers to a class of literatures of a popular personality. There are two main itihasas. One is Valmiki's Srimad Ramayana, another one is Vyasadev's Mahabharata. Itihasas are part of Smriti, and Puranas are 18 in numbers. They are also Smritis. Vishnu Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Narada, Padma, Varaha and Garuda Purana. They are considered to be Satvika Purana. Vamana, Brahma, Markandeya, Bhavishya, Brahmanda, Brahma Vaivarta Puranas are 6 considered Rajasa Puranas, whereas Matsya, Kurma, Agni, Linga, Shiva, Skanda and Vayu Puranas are Tamasa Puranas. Besides these 18 Puranas, there are 18 Upa Puranas, which also falls into 3 categories of Satvika, Rajasa and Tamasa. Just to name few: Narasimha Purana, Naradiya Purana, Kalki Purana are all falls under Upa Puranas. Besides these, there are Agamas, which means that which comes down. We already saw Nigama. This is not Nigama. Nigama is another name for Vedas. What we are seeing now is Agamas. Nigamas are Vedic texts, whereas Agamas are non-Vedic texts. That means they are distinct from Nigama. Agamas prescribe deity worship in the place of rituals that's mentioned in the Vedas. They prescribe methods of worship, plans and rules for the construction of temples, installation of deities, performance of pujas. There are Saiva Agamas, Shakta Agama, Vaishnava Agama. Pancharatra falls under the Vaishnava Agama. That's about Agamas in nutshell. Then we have Nibandhas, which consists primarily of instructions on the rites connected with the religious and family life. And there are Kala means arts. There are 64 arts which also falls under the scriptures. Just to name few: making musical instruments, playing musical instruments, decoration, making costumes, singing, dancing, garland making, flower arrangement, playing games, drawing, painting, architecture, sculpture, temple constructions, cleaning houses and vessels, laundrying, washing, hairdressing, gardening and fencing, composing riddles, rhymes, verses, puzzles, making weapons, and so forth. All these and more falls under the kala. Then we have 32 vidyas. They include logic, metaphysics, science of government, agriculture, commerce, medicine, astronomy, astrology, geometry, and so forth. Besides these 32 vidyas, there are other 32 atma vidyas that's discussed under Bhakti Yoga. Just to name few: Sadvidya, Antaraditya Vidya, Akasha Vidya, Prana Vidya, Paramjyoti Vidya, Sandilya Vidya, Dahara Vidya, Panchagni Vidya, Antaryami Vidya, Akshara Vidya, Ishavasya Vidya, and so forth. Then we have darshanas, saddarshanas. This means to look, to view. They are namely Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa, and Uttara Mimamsa. And there are other shastras specific to rules or law book: Alankara Shastra, Vyakarna Shastra, Tarka Shastra, Dharma Shastra, Rajaniti, Kama Shastra, Ayurveda, Vastu, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, Jyotisa, Grihya Shastra, Karma Mimamsa, Jnana Mimamsa. They all are Shastras. Among these, 3 are known as Prasthana Trayam. They are Brahma Sutram, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, which falls under Jnana Mimamsa. There are several commentaries on these 3 by many, almost all religious masters like Shankara, Ramanuja, Madhva, and others. All these, that is, the Shrutis, the Vedas, and smṛtis, which includes Puranas, Itihasas, Saddarshanas, Dharmashastra, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, Bharatashastra, Arthashastra, are all considered pramanams. Among these, the Vedas, Shrutis, stands above all, and rest of them are all one step below to the Vedas, supplementing Vedas, supporting Vedas. One thing to be noted, except for a few concepts told in them that are contrary to the preachings of the Vedas, all the other parts are valid pramanams. That is because the rishis who wrote them are susceptible to shortcomings. Their works too can have few shortcomings. For example, Sankhya philosophy by Kapila, Yoga by Patanjali, Nyaya Shastra by Gautama. They at some places differ from the Vedas. Those which are against the Vedas need to be rejected, but the other theories can be accepted. It is not to say that everything has to be rejected, because there are few which differs from the Vedas. Let's see an example. In Nyaya Shastra, it is said that God can be realized through anumanam. We already know what anumana means. Inference. So Nyaya Shastra says by inference one can realize God. Whereas in the Vedanta, it is said only through the Vedas the Lord can be understood. That is, only through the Shabda Pramanam the Lord can be understood, not through the Pratyaksha or Anumana. In other place, Nyaya Matam says that Lord is just Nimitta Karana, not upadhana-kṛd. That is, Lord is just instrumental cause, not material cause. Whereas Vedanta doesn't agree to this. The Lord is both nimitta-kṛd and upadhana-kṛd as well. So whenever we come across contradicting statements in other places, one has to refer to Vedanta and accept to what has been said in the Vedanta, rejecting the contradicting statement in the other places. Therefore, Vedas, Vedanta are the highest authority compared to all the other Shabda Pramanam. The Shabda Pramanam can be classified into three: Pramanam, Pramanataram, Pramanattamam. That is great, greater and greatest. Shabda Pramanam can be classified like that. For example, Vedas, Itihasas, Puranas and many other things that we saw in today's session are all Pramanams. Pramanataram is a step ahead, above the Pramanams, work done by Alvars and great saints like Alvars. Above that is Pramanattamam, the scriptures done by the great acharyas and gurus. This has to be understood clearly. This doesn't mean that one is greater than the other in that sense, not that one is lower than the other, or it is not that one is lacking something compared to the other. What it really means is that for us to learn so many pramanams that we just saw, the Vedas, Itihasas, Puranas, Agamas, Upangas and many more, is quite difficult, and we will never be able to finish them. So it is not about collecting data, rather it is about squeezing the essence of the pramanam. Again, it is not that these are with more information, these meaning the work done by acharyas and gurus has more information compared to Vedas. Rather, it is to say that it has just the necessary information that I or all of us really need, and that helps one to go back to Godhead. They don't confuse us. The literatures, the scriptures which are done by the acharyas and gurus does not confuse us. They don't give us so much information, and they don't give us less information. They give us enough information for us to understand the essence of all the scriptures. Because Vedas has everything more than what one really needs for their moksha, for their liberation. And also it goes in a roundabout way to bring one to the platform of bhakti, to attain the Lord. Whereas acharyas do not do that. They are very focused, very clear, and gives us easy method without compromising what's been said in the Vedas, in other pramanas. Therefore, their work are pramanattamam, which is considered greater. Srila Prabhupada has spent day and night in his matured age to give the essence of the pramanam, Shabda Pramanam, the Vedas, in a very palatable, simple way for people like us to understand. Out of his causeless mercy, out of his compassion, he has given us all this information in a way that we can understand, and he has given us instruction in a way that we all can easily accept and follow. Therefore, his works are pramānatamam. To summarize, what we have gone through today is just a glimpse of the wealth that we have in the form of these scriptures. There are a lot more can be spoken about each of these scriptures, but we get an idea about what we have, what has been given to us for our own benefit, for our own well-being, for our ultimate goal in our life. Either we have to aspire to study them or aspire to learn that from who has studied them. If we don't do either of one, we are simply wasting our life and digging our own pit to bury ourselves spiritually. In other words, we are committing spiritual suicide. So it is very important we learn the scriptures on a regular daily basis, and just not learning. After we learn, after we realize, we share that knowledge with others. We share that realization with others to inspire others in the path of bhakti and sharanagati. For this, we have to be very thankful to the great saints and sages, acharyas and gurus, and the Supreme Lord Himself for giving us the scriptures. Otherwise, we will be a lost kid in this samsara without any guidance, struggling to find means to get out of this samsara by ourselves, which is very difficult, which is impossible. Therefore, we need the help of gurus and acharyas through their shabda pramanams. With this, we can conclude shabda pramanam, one of the pramanam, besides pratyaksha and anumanam. Now, with whatever we learned through the shabda pramanam, we will enter into the second half of the sloka. vedaiś sarvair aham eva vedyah vedānta-kṛd veda-vid cāham. Namaste. Hare Krishna.